Hi, so we'll be starting with the marathon for current affairs for CSEET 2026 Jan attempt. Now the marathon is covered from my notes. These notes are mapped exactly to the module. So all the important key aspects from the module has been covered into these notes. So the very first question, that is it going to be enough? Answer is absolutely yes. After you do my notes, you will feel that the module is very much covered. Okay, and then a bird's eye view is going to be absolutely enough. Now we begin with the session. So your current affairs has 5 chapters, and all the 5 chapters we will be covering in this marathon, including the important MCQs as well. So let's begin. Hi, so we begin with your lesson 1, which is about international and national affairs. Now in the chapter, when we start, there are 10 bodies, okay, 10 international bodies given. How many? 10. All these 10, I believe at least one will definitely come in your examination. So from here, when you look at the screen, first you tell me, do you know what is IMF? You know what is World Bank? You know what is IFC? All these. How many institutions are given? You can look at this 10 institutions. Okay. So now after a span of 5 minutes, you will know all these 10 institutions pit pat. Now when we start with the first and the second, it is your IMF and World Bank. Before I start, I want to tell you all a small little story. Okay. So the story is something, okay, it's not a boring story, it's related to this. Listen. When the world wars ended, everybody was in distress and countries did not like each other. So then they said that we need to have some institutions to restore the business, restore the trust. So the very first institution that was made after the World War II ended was the United Nations. This United Nations was made to bring in political stability. When two countries are at dispute, all the countries will come together, will tell who is right, who is wrong, and they will try to lower the tension, interpret the issues. So the main purpose of United Nations was to bring in a political stability. This was with respect to the friendly relations with countries. But then after the World War II, every country, okay, was in bankruptcy. War had a very big setback due to the World War and the losses caused in the World War. So then they said that now we require a economic revival. For economic revival, they made two institutions. Which are these two institutions? One is the IMF and the other one is the World Bank. Is this concept clear? After the World War II, they said that we want to restore economic stability. What is the key word? Economic stability, for which they brought in IMF and World Bank. Now sir, why two different banks? Now both of them is bank. IMF is also a bank and World Bank is also a bank. Their main jobs are basically to give finance. Then how is the difference? So in IMF, what happened? It is the first aid. It is the immediate, if a company has collapsed, if the economy of a country has collapsed, first call they will make is to IMF. So when you saw Singapore, when you saw Sri Lanka, it had crashed, it called up IMF. When Greece had crashed, they called up IMF. When Pakistan had crashed, they called IMF. IMF is basically helping sick countries. Now when I say sick, means economically sick, where there is a sudden economic collapse, and they act as a lender of the last resort. You don't have any money, so then IMF will give you the funding. This is when an accident happens, you take a first aid. But that is just the first level of financial funding that will be given. What about a long-term revival? For long-term economic stability and growth, they made the World Bank. Concept clear? World Bank is for what? Long-term economic stability. So what would they really want to do? Think from World Bank. Now I am sure the IMF is clear. Now I am talking about World Bank. World Bank, they wanted that we want to eradicate poverty in the long run. It not cannot be today, tomorrow, so long run. So they will fund finance projects which will eradicate poverty. Concept clear? So World Bank is a long term plan, okay, is to fund projects that will help eradicate poverty. That is it. Now we will go back and understand IMF. Sir, what was IMF? I told you it is to, whenever there is an economic collapse of a country, IMF is the first organization to call. Okay, what do? They give funding. How many member countries are there? 191 member countries are there, and their job is to ensure stability of collapsed nation. Okay, so how it can collapse? Maybe the currency has fallen tremendously. Okay, so if the exchange rate has fallen, now you go to see Venezuela. USA has attacked Venezuela and the Venezuela's currency has collapsed completely. So then the exchange rate has fallen, so they can approach IMF if they want rebuilding. Okay, if there is a global poverty, etc., high, all these objectives IMF was made. Okay, now they will give lending, they will give you assistance, training, and they will keep surveying the various member countries. Okay, the headquarters is in Washington. Okay, and the members can borrow. Now coming to the next one. Next one is your World Bank. Sir, what is the World Bank? If IMF, now pay attention to this, IMF is the first aid, then World Bank is a long-term treatment. The main objective is to fund development projects which will eradicate poverty. See, they will always say eradicate poverty. So World Bank is a organization affiliated with United Nations, because all three institutions I told you were developed after the World War II ended. Okay, they provide financial and technical assistance to all developing countries. Okay, and the key word what they always tell you is poverty reduction, poverty eradication. Concept clear? Okay, the World Bank has 5 subordinate or institutions within it. Okay, so these are all the institutions, 5 institutions within. It is also headquartered in USA, Washington DC. Now we talk about International Financial Corporation. What is IFC? Now pay attention. We are talking about collapse of country. We are talking about financial distress of country. But now we are talking about why not fund companies that have collapsed. So IFC does exactly that. They fund the private sector. What do they fund? The key word is they fund private sector. They don't fund the country. They fund the company, the developing countries private sector. So World Bank and the World Bank gives to funding to the country. IFC invest in the private sector, not in a country. Concept clear? Yes or no? Very simple. So when you see IFC, it should know that it is the largest global development institution exclusively for private sector. Okay, the objectives economic development of the private sector. Okay, and same thing, they will give you loans, A grade loans, B grade loans, means B grade is a second category loans, it will be given. Okay, then there are over 100 countries here, and various bonds etc. can be issued. Now coming to the third one. Now coming to the fourth institution, which is ASEAN. Okay, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Now what is it from? I believe everybody would know A is for Asian. Okay, A is for Asian. So Association of Southeast. Now see, they're giving you exact location who all is coming inside. Southeast Asian countries. So here when you come to know that any organization has been made which is region specific, Okay, then they have come basically for regional stability, regional growth, regional cooperation, regional development. Concept clear? So, South Asian countries have come together for regional growth, regional peace, regional stability, regional cooperation. Concept clear? Very, very simple. Okay. Now, objectives economic growth, every economic growth, stability, peace, cooperation, not of the world, but of the Asian countries. Sir, 10 member countries are there. 10 member countries, okay? So, which are they? Southeast Asia. So, in Asia, you will come to know all these countries like Thailand, Singapore, they are all close to each other, okay? Malaysia, all this will come here. Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam. These are all Southeast Asian countries. Concept clear? Yes, sir. Next, we see the next BRICS. Now, BRICS is something which has been made to combat the Westerners. USA, Europe, we have come to fight with them. That why always have dollars, why always have euros. We will have a BRICS will have its own currency. So this is what we have thought. In BRICS, developing countries have come together to create their own currency and to help each other so that they will develop their own currency, but this has not been that successful. Though they have come, they have clicked photos, but in reality, USA and Europe will not really let you survive that easily. Okay, so group of emerging countries came together to challenge the Westerners. BRICS is a group, and who is there, and what is the full form of BRICS? So Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So we already know that India and Russia have good relations. Okay. Even China has joined us. Why? Because they want to combat USA dollar. So they have also joined us. Okay. And South Africa. Market is important. They should know who are the member countries. BRICS. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They come together to combat the West and develop their own currencies and trade. Okay. Now, coming to the next thing is your SARC. Now SARC, so you need to know the full form, okay? So it is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So again, it is a regional. So when I told you regional means what? It is for, they don't care of the world. They care of their region stability, regional growth, regional development, regional cooperation, regional everything. Okay. So when I say in that region, who comes? So I'm just looking at South Asian countries will come. So there are 8 South Asian countries that have come together for cooperation of growth and economic high increasing the standards of living. So again, so what is this? So multiple times they come together. How many groups you have with your friends? So all these Asian countries and all the other countries, they always keep coming, making groups together. Okay, this is one of them. So SARC, basically they come together for development of South Asia. We had earlier also, this is with the different goals. The goals here is quality of life, economic growth, will become a regional self-reliance. But one thing is very different from everyone else. Here, it is, I could say that it is not very successful. That is why we had the other South Asian countries association. Why this was flopped, anyone knows? Because here decisions could only be taken if all 8 countries agreed. So 8 South Asian countries were there. If they want to take any decisions, 100% consent is required. So therefore, it was never, it was a very slow paced and very difficult to get consent. That is why it has not been that successful. Now, coming to the next thing is your group of G20. Now, G20 is basically group of 20 where we want economic stability of the world. Why only talk about region? So G, you can also remember global 20. Okay, so group of 20 is a premier international group for global economic cooperation comprising of major developed and developing economies. Clear? So that is there. Now come to one other one, which is your related to Bay of Bengal. When you see this word, okay, which I don't think you must have seen it that frequently, BIMSTEC. What is this, sir? B is basically, you can remember the word Bay of Bengal. So countries which are connected through the Bay of Bengal, South Asia and Southeast Asia, South Asia and Southeast Asia, okay, countries they are there, they have come together which are connected as it is through the Bay of Bengal for trade cooperation. Now, and here there are 7 member countries, but the question is, why Bay of Bengal? Why Bay of Bengal is so connected? Because they want, listen, Bay of Bengal is there and there are so many countries surrounding through that, connected through it. So they are saying, why fight among each other? Let's make a maritime security and maritime cooperation. So the main objective of these 7 countries is to have peaceful connection and maritime security. Concept clear? So the Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. So BIM, Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation is there. Okay, they want rapid growth in their region, social, economic and regional growth. Now we come to the Asian Development Bank. Asian Development Bank. Now when we saw what is Asian Development Bank, it is beautiful. Just write this what I have written. Okay, the concept will be crystal clear for you. Just like World Bank protected any country that would come, they would give them first aid, will give them support, financial support. Asian Development Bank only funds Asian countries if they have an economic trouble. They will only fund for development projects of the Asian countries. So Asian development country is to foster economic growth, poverty reduction. Now poverty reduction, I told you World Bank wants, but World Bank wants in the entire world. We made Asian Development Bank for in Asia if there is poverty and economic growth. So the objective was to reduce poverty and increase your growth. So they provide loans, grants, assistance. They invest in bonds, they invest in shares, etc. Okay, so they do. There are 68 member countries. Okay, then we come to the next one is the 10th and the last one is OECD. OECD, sir, what is OECD? What is the full form? Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Now they don't give money. You see no finance, no word bank, that is not written. What they have written, read the word Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So it is not they don't give money. The objective is not to give money. They give advice. It is like a think tank. It is like Niti Ayog of India. What does Niti Ayog do? They make policies. They don't give funding. Their objective is policy creation, planning, etc. Clear? So here again we see here the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development is an international organization that gives economic and well-being. But what you see the point, they'll never write funding. What they will write? Let's see the keywords. It's an international organization, we know that develops policies. See the keywords. That develops policies to improve the well-being. So they are the think tank. So they provide policy, analysis, data, international standards, educate. Okay, they cover various technical topics. Now, so with this we are done with the 10 important international institutions. 110% they will ask one for sure. Now we begin with some other points of discussion is the G7 summit. The G7 or G8? Can you read and tell me? Please go through the module. Is it G7 or G8? G7 or G8? Answer is it was G8. Russia was kicked out and it became G7. So what happened? Russia was a part of this summit. This entire group of friends are there of the most powerful countries. The most powerful. So this is basically of developed countries. So remember, when you see G7 or G8, it is the world's most powerful countries coming together. Out of it, they removed Russia. So it was G8, then it became G7. Okay. Russia was joined in 1998. Okay. However, they annexed Crimea, a country, they annexed it, a region. So then their membership was suspended and they were removed and then became G7. Now you see who are the world's most advanced economies are there in G7. So who are they? Let's see. They are the most AAA rated countries. Okay, so if you go to see, there is a ratings given to countries. Okay, there are standards and poor, etc. How movies are given ratings, even countries are given ratings. So if you go to see, Dubai has got UAE basically has got AAA rated country. You go to USA, AAA rated country. Norway, AAA rated country. Australia, AAA rated country. Canada, AAA rated country. India is BBB minus. So we are still, we are a developing country. So here in G7 only the top players come, developed countries. So who all are there? UK, US, Canada, Germany. Earlier Russia was also there. Then Japan, Italy, France. All the top countries are there. Okay. Then they had this recent in 2025 they had a G summit. It was hosted in Canada. Okay. Then in the G7 summit was in 2024. It was hosted in Italy. Now coming to the next one is a World's Investor Week. So and ISO. Now two important agencies or two important concepts we'll be doing, which is World Investor Week and the second is it's basically a securities commission. We'll come to it. First, let's talk about World Investor Week. So full form you should know. WIW, World Investor Week. Now what is the job? So they are telling you both of this is related to stock market. So you can write it there. It is related to stock market. World Investor Week is coming and telling you how you should not be fooled by fraudsters in the security markets, how you should not invest in Ponzi schemes, how you should not lose your money in the stock market. So they create financial literacy. They give investor protection because earning is one aspect. Investing is another aspect. Protecting your money that you have earned is another aspect. So many times due to financial illiteracy or lack of financial literacy, there are people who invest in wrong schemes, wrong companies and they lose the money. So the World Investor Week is something like of India, Jago Grahak Jago. Okay. It creates awareness campaign about financial literacy, investor protection, sound investing practices. Very simple. Okay. They do all this only. Then comes to the next IS, very, very important institution. Extremely. So many times when you will come in executive, professional, you will see this body. And this body is basically the rule making body of securities rule making body of the world. How we have a regulator for India stock market, SEBI. This is the rule making body for international stock market. So what do? They tell that listen, this is the stock market. All the countries should make this kind of law. They should ensure that companies do not come in money laundering, etc. They set global standards. So they make the rule book for the stock market. Okay. It is a leading international policy making body, but not for everything. Not it is a policy making body for regulator, securities regulator, means they will tell SEBI what to do. They will tell SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, that is of securities regulator of USA. So they are telling the regulators of stock markets of the world, all the countries, what is to be done. So membership is of what? Security market regulators are members here. So SEBI will be a member here. Okay, around 130 different jurisdictions are covered. So what do they do? The objective is basically to make the objective of this is to make your develop and promote internationally consistent regulatory standards which will protect the investors, ensure that the risk involved in stock market, the systemic risk is protected, market infrastructure is in place. Okay, so now we are done with this summit aspect as well, and two more important institutions, ISCO and that World Investor Week. Now they're talking about business personalities. This I believe we would have an idea. Ambani, he is the managing director of Reliance. Azim Premji. Azim Premji, can you all tell me where is he? What he has founded? Wipro. Very good. Okay. Third, Gautam Adani is Adani Group. Okay. Kumar Mangalam Birla again. So from the name itself, it is Aditya Birla Group. Tim Cook is basically CEO of Apple. Then comes Bill Gates. Bill Gates is of what? Microsoft. Elon Musk, we know he is the richest man of the world. And he is so rich that even if the second guy who is there, okay, if we double that guy's income also, still he cannot come close to Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is around $750 billion. Okay, I think it's even more, but that is there. And the other guy is 250. Imagine it's 2-3 times difference is there between the first richest guy and the second richest guy. So because everybody has one company, he has multiple companies. Tesla, SpaceX, PayPal, Twitter, he has made and the owner of all these companies. Then we have Warren Buffett, he is Berkshire Hathaway. Then we come to the leaders. Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India, we know that from 2014. Donald J. Trump, he was in 45th president, then he lost the election to Joe Biden, and then we have 47th president again, Donald J. Trump. We have Putin, I think he is there forever. Since 2012, even from 1999 till here, he has been the president of Russia. Okay, now we come to international diplomacy. International diplomacy. So what is international diplomacy? Again, similar thing that we have connections with different countries. Now, Quad Leaders Summit. What is this? Quad Leaders Summit. Now pay attention to this. Quad means what? Quadrilateral. So always remember, quad means 4. Quad means 4. So I made a sentence like 4 friends keep the Indo-Pacific region peaceful. And they are talking about maritime security and border security. Okay, now Quad Leaders Summit. Basically, Quad is basically, you remember the word security, and which are the 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very, very important. Who are there? It is your India, USA, Japan and Australia. These are the 4 countries that have come together in this summit. And what do? They want maritime security and border security. They focused on maritime and border securities. Okay, it was hosted by Donald J. Trump. Okay, that is your president of USA. What do they focus on? Maritime security and border security. This was the key things. Okay. Then they have given you certain full forms. Okay, they have given you certain full forms. IFFT means this, etc. So Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So overseas campus in Dubai. So Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Again, I feel it's a interesting institution because what happened is India wanted to expand its footprints in other countries. We try to have in Dubai, in UK, okay, with ICSI regions also. With the recent development, ICSI is also trying to set up their presence in multiple countries. So if you are a member in India and you want to work in UK, you just have to give a few exams and you can become a membership of UK ICSI. Okay, the securities institute there. Then this IIFT became the first overseas campus in Dubai, and their operations have started in now only recently in 2025. Okay, it strengthened the India UK UAE economic and education cooperation. Important. Then we see the visits of Prime Minister. I don't think this is that important from exam point of view. Just that he has visited various countries. Okay, now these are the sample MCQs. Just few we'll see which is there, that in the following country was United Nations Climate Change Conference held. It was in Azerbaijan. Now some of this you have to learn it as it is, just in case if they ask you again. So the Quad Summit is about Indo-Pacific held by USA. And the following was appointed as a governor of Odisha in 2024. Then Babu Kambapati. Now, obviously, these MCQs are there. You have to learn it as it is, just in case if it comes. Okay. Niti Aayog recently collaborated with the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization. So, at least what is given in the module, all the MCQs I have covered here, and then the important key concepts as well. Then we see a few agencies which will be repeated again in the next chapter. So RBI, we will see, it will come again. What is the functions of RBI? We know that. Okay. Then the stock markets indices, again both of this will come in the next chapter. Okay, so we'll do it from. Then there is an important concept again, social stock exchange, extremely important. That's a part of the next chapter which we will take. Okay, so this is there. So this is it. We have completed with lesson number 1 completely. Thank you. Hi, so we begin with your lesson number 2, that is your financial affairs. Now, in your financial affairs, they are talking about your main financial regulator in India. Who is it? It is your Reserve Bank of India. Now, in Reserve Bank of India, we know that it's a very important institution. So, one MCQ can definitely come. But what do they really can ask? First, they would ask you that when was RBI founded? So, RBI was established on 1st April 1935 under the RBI Act 1934. Okay, its central office was initially set up in Calcutta, but then it has been permanently shifted to Mumbai. So it was initially in Kolkata, Calcutta, and now it has been shifted in Mumbai. Okay, now it has become nationalized and wholly under the Government of India, wholly owned institution by Government of India. Now, what does the RBI do? I believe this we already know, and through so many years of studying, we know that RBI decides the monetary policy of India. Monetary policy means what? How much money supply will be there in India. Okay, they ensure for price stability with economic growth. They are the regulators and supervisors of the financial system. They are the custodian of foreign exchange. They issue currency. They develop the market. They do payment and settlement. They are regulator of payment and settlement system. Means what? Today, any GPay is being made, any kind of online payment is being made. So all of that mechanism has been allowed by RBI. That is why it is only there. That how payment can be made and transaction can be settled, RBI will give the rules. Okay, then bankers to the bank and banker to the government as well. Now, obviously, this is basic stuff. But now, if they ask you who is the governor of RBI, a very good, easy question to ask. Can you tell me who is the governor of RBI? So, in 2024, the RBI governor, new RBI governor was appointed, that is Sanjay Malhotra. Concept clear? Sanjay Malhotra. Okay. Then the deputy governor was Poonam Gupta. That is all that we need to know. Then we come to your capital market and stock market aspects. Okay. The first thing we talk about is capital market indices. Sir, what are indices? So pay attention to what are indices. So indice basically is a overall performance of a group of securities. So this I believe every single one of y'all, I guarantee y'all must be knowing. If you can tell me which is the indice for BSE and which is the indice for Nifty for NSE. Chalo, this I gave it away. Nifty. Can anyone tell me which is for BSE? It is your Sensex. Very good. Okay. So this is the indice. Now what does the indice do? It really tracks a group of securities. Do you know that BSE takes how many securities in its consideration? Top 30. And Nifty comes from the word 50. Then that is why also they call it a Nifty 50. Okay. They take the top 50 big stocks and then they take it as an average. Okay. So this is called as an indice. So what is Sensex and Nifty? It is a indice. What is an indice? It gives you an average or the overall performance of a certain group of securities. Slowly with time, the number of indices have increased. Now there is Nifty 100 indice also to just track the top 100 companies. And there are now indices not only by only stocks, commodity indices have been made, currency indices have been made. So that's also fine. So it is just a understanding of the group performance. Okay. So types of indices, you can have market indices which is Nifty, Sensex, sectorial indices. Now there is even tracking of sectors, pharma sector, what is the growth. So you can buy a sectorial indice also. So if you just believe in banking, can anyone tell me that if I just am interested in the banking sector and I just want to buy, so which index should I see? Anyone investing or anyone knows about little bit of stock market? This is a very famous index. Anyone knows? It is Bank Nifty. Okay, Bank Nifty. So it tracks the top 50 stocks of banking sector. Then similar, you have a pharma sectorial index. You can even have volatility, different fixed in tracking of other kind of units are there. You just keep tracking them. Then comes to the most important topic of this chapter, which I believe that will come in the examination. 110% in my opinion, this should come in the exam. That what is a social stock? Normally people always know that it is a NSE, BSE, that's all they know. There is a stock exchange called as SSE, Social Stock Exchange. Okay, it is a platform for companies or corporates or entities with social intent. Entities with social intent. Sir, what is social intent? NGO. If I feel NGOs nowadays find it very difficult, they go for fundraising, they go for private, someone is investing, privately, like that. Think of any NGO, how they will get the funds? They are not listed on stock market. So either from their contacts or someone has donated, etc. So now what government has done, they said that why NGOs also should be allowed to be listed. So they can be able to raise money from public easily. So entity, they are calling them as entities with social intent. They have a social intent, means charity purpose, some kind of welfare purpose for the society. So they are allowed to be listed and raise funds. Okay, but now the thing is, if I want to invest in this particular, let's talk about some, I don't know which NGO you know. Have you heard of Milap? Then there is Keto. Keto is an example. Being Human is an example. There are multiple kind of NGOs that are there. CRY is a very famous institution, NGO. So they can get listed and raise funds. Now when they raise funds and I want to become an investor and I go to this NGO, I give him the money. In return, what do they give me? Now it's a company, it is being listed on stock market, so they'll have to give some instrument. They have to give some, like how you have shares, they'll have to issue an instrument. The name of that instrument is zero coupon, zero principal bond. Zero principal bond. Sir, what does this mean? That means if it is a charity, right? I'm investing in this like a charity, so I'll get zero interest and zero principal back. It's just the name of the instrument. So I know that anyone investing here is really not investing, they're donating here. Because in return, no, neither they will get principal amount, neither will they get the interest. Concept clear? Yes. Now, obviously they are listed, so they are under SEBI. Now NSE, BSE have made a separate segment for social stock exchange. So tomorrow if you go and invest in a social stock exchange, any company listed on social stock exchange, you will get a zero coupon, zero, it's called as zero coupon, zero principal bond. Okay, nothing you will get back. You go for charitable purpose. So what did I tell you? Social enterprise. So with a social intent. Okay, here even Tatas can come. Tatas who have profit making motive, but they will say that this money I will use it only for charitable purpose. Even NGOs can come, their objective is non-profit from the very beginning. So if you go to see Tata's also, what they do, what does Tata do? Tata also does so much philanthropical work also under the company's name. So even they can be listed. So both kind of entities can be listed. Even profit making entities can be listed and even NGOs can be listed. But when they raise the money, then they have to use it for social purpose only. Okay, and this you can remember that when you are listed, now pay attention to this figure. This is a very important figure. This entire concept, I feel some question has to come. 67% of the money that you get has to be given for social objectives. So what I will do of the other 33% are administrative cost, rental cost of the office, cost, other cost can be used. Your salaries has to be paid. So that all can be done, but at least 67% should go directly to the social purpose. So that much amount has to go. Rest amount can be used for other purposes also. Okay. So zero coupon, zero principal bond. Very important type. And who will invest? Anyone can invest, individuals, but mainly even NGO companies can invest, etc. Now as we know, everything is in demat form. So this, since you're listed, even this will be in demat form. When they raise the money, like it's like an IPO only, public, so they will raise minimum 50 lakh rupees, which is nothing today, and minimum application size will be 1000. So mark this also as important. 50 lakhs and minimum per person they will have to take 1000, and in total they will have to raise at least 50 lakh rupees. Otherwise they will say small NGOs are not allowed here. Ineligibility, you are ineligible if you are debarred by SEBI, you are a defaulter, or you are a economic offender. Okay, now we are seeing further some kind of developments in the securities market. This is a T+0 settlement cycle has been introduced. Sir, what is this? Normally when you buy or sell, okay, the stock exchange gets T+2 days to complete the transaction. T+2 days to complete transaction. Concept clear? T plus 2 days. This T plus 2 days means what? Trading day plus 2 more days to complete the debiting of the amount, to complete the deposit of the to debit the amount and to credit the securities. T plus 2 days. Now this T plus 2 obviously has reduced to, it had reduced to T plus 1, and now it has been reduced to T plus 0. That means on the same day only it will get settled. And today if you have ever invested in shares, you invest, automatically money is debited and automatically credit is also coming off the shares. It doesn't take much time. On the same day only the transaction is completed, concluded. Okay, so that is it. So who is the main regulator of stock market? It is your SEBI. They has launched a personal finance focused mobile app that is called as Sarathi 2. Okay. Then comes Reserve Bank of India has approved the merger of fintech, okay, slice with the Northeast Small Bank. Now some of these facts are there which you have to learn it as it is. It's given in the module MCQ, so it is important to know. So RBI has approved the merger of this with Northeast. Who has been appointed as a governor of RBI recently? Okay, Sanjay Malhotra. Very important. In my opinion, it is a short exam question. Short exam question. Okay, Sanjay Malhotra. Okay, then this is it. With this, we've completed your lesson 2 as well. Thank you. Hi, so we'll be starting with your lesson 3, that is your political affairs. Now, in this chapter, it's mostly about who is the current cabinet minister and union minister of India. So, if I ask you all, in this session specifically, I want you all to unmute yourselves and answer. First, we all know the Prime Minister is Shri Narendra Modi. So, this is no points for guessing. I don't think it's going to even come in your exam. But now let me ask you, who is the Defense Minister of India? You all can unmute and answer. It is Rajnath Singh. Who is the Home Affairs Minister? Amit Shah. If I ask you, who is the External Affairs Minister? Subramaniam Jaishankar. Okay, we have our Finance Minister. Who is the Finance Minister? Shri Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay, then the Roads and Transport Minister is your Nitin Gadkari. Okay, so these are, I think, some of the important ones. But now when we come to the other important ones, who is the Minister of Commerce in India? So you have Piyush Goyal. Okay, Education Minister, your Dharmendra Pradhan. Okay. Then if we see your another important ministry which I feel they can ask you, your Sindhya is your communication, Ministry of Communication, and information. Ashwini is basically your information and broadcasting. Obviously we'll have to go through it and learn the names, but at least the important ones are making you all do, so you know that this is important. That's it. Women and Child was Anupama Devi. Okay. Now Minister of States, I don't think they will ask you this Minister of State. Learning the union ministers is enough. Okay. For each state it's impossible for anyone to learn. Okay. Governor is there. Okay, but still it's impossible. At least of your state you learn the governor. If you get lucky they might ask you that. But I feel that they will restrict themselves to the main cabinet ministers of the state country. Okay. Chief ministers are there. Now we are seeing the chief ministers. So this I believe you can tell me. Who is the chief minister of Delhi? Can anyone tell me? Key states and key important personalities I'll be asking you. So it is Rekha Gupta. Okay. Then we have a minister who has won elections for a long period of time in Bihar. Who is he? It is Nitish Kumar. Okay. Then we see another Kerala. Okay. Pinayari is there. Then we have Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis. Okay. Tamil Nadu, Stalin. Okay, MK Stalin. Then we have Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath. Mamta Banerjee. Okay, for a long time she is holding that ground which is in West Bengal, and recently we have the West Bengal elections also. Okay, so what do you think? You think this time she will be winning the elections? Yes or no? That is not our domain, but we have to know that the elections are around the corner. So that is why knowing right now who is the West Bengal minister is important. Mamta Banerjee. Concept clear? Yes. Then we come to the union budget of 2025-2026. Now in that they had told about the ease of doing business. Now pay attention. Ease of doing business is a worldwide calculation that is done on 10 parameters. How many parameters? 10 parameters. They look at the construction permits, how fast you give, trading permits, how fast you do trading across borders, import export, how easy it is. So 10 like these factors they have seen, your how fast you can enforce the contracts, insolvency, how fast you can do. So there are 10 factors that they've given. On that basis you get the rankings. Clear till here? So the government of India has introduced the Jan Vishwas bill. Okay, and they have reduced, they have basically all the restrictions they have reduced, and they have increased the FDI limits in the insurance sector also. That means 100% FDI is allowed. A foreign company can buy 100% shares in the insurance company. Most of the sectors have been opened up. Now we'll see what is important. Extremely short exam question. I'm giving you a clear cut exam question. In my opinion, this will definitely come because it is such a major amendment. Micro, small, and medium enterprise, the thresholds. This limit has been changed. So first is what is a micro enterprise? What is a small? What is medium? Anyone knows the thresholds? This will 100, and if you open your module, 100 times they have mentioned it. 100 times. I have seen so many times. You please take a note of this. Guaranteed it will come. Guaranteed. So let's see. What is a micro enterprise? Micro enterprise is if the investment in plant and machinery is up to 1.5 crores. And if the turnover is up to 10 crores. Small enterprise is if the investment in plant and machinery is up to 25 crores, then you are a basically small enterprise. But if the annual turnover is up till 100 crores, then you are a particular small enterprise. Third is basically if the medium enterprise, small, micro, small, and medium. So this is 125 crores, and this is turnover is up to 500 crores. So if you are meeting both these criteria, then you will be called as that institution. Concept clear? Very simple. So you have to learn these thresholds. Any of these thresholds can be remembered. So this is easy. 10, 100 and 500. This is easy to learn, and this is the turnover category. Turnover category. Okay. And when I look at this 2.5, 25 and 125. This is the plant and machinery, investment in plant and machinery. So you can note this down just before the examination. Also just look at this threshold. This is the micro, small and medium enterprise. Okay, so beautifully I have made it. Yes or no? Yes, even I like it. Okay, so just learn this, you're sorted. Now coming to the next thing, direct from here. So I feel this is the question that will be asked. Then exports is there. This fine will come ahead. Now we come to one important aspect also, which I feel that they will ask you. The finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman, she had given a gift to the middle class, major relief to the middle class. What was it? Anyone knows? No tax up till 12 lakh rupees. And if you're claiming standard deduction, then 12 lakh 75,000. So for salaried people, it is, if you're earning up till 12 lakh 75,000, zero tax. Okay, that is there. Then comes Padma Awards. I don't feel they will ask you the name, but we'll understand what is Padma Awards. It's the most highest civilian honor award. That you are one of the highest civilian of India. That's called as Padma Shri or Padma Awards. Okay. So you have Padma Bhushan, you have Padma Bhushan, and you have Padma Shri awards. Okay. And the awards are announced on Republic Day, and it is always given by the President of India. Clear? It is given by on Republic Day and by the conferred by the President of India. Now we look at the key aspects for governance. Here I feel that this is the only thing that you need to know. What is corporate governance? Corporate governance means you should govern, means run the corporate as per the best international standards, best management practices. There has to be proper transparency. You have to work for the benefit of the society. So companies have a responsibility towards society. Okay, so as per section 135, this is also very important. As per section 135 of the Companies Act, companies have to give 2%. How much? 2% of average 3 years net profit for social causes. 2% of the average 3 years net profit has to be given for social causes, called as CSR expenditure they have to do. Okay. Then ease of doing business we have done. Aadhaar card portal has been made. Aadhaar card good governance portal has been made. Yeah. Then we also look at this aspect, very important, is SDG. Okay, SDG goals. So what is SDG? That we want to develop, but in a sustainable manner, in a manner that we have least impact on the environment. So this is called, like, we are launching e-products, electric cars. So these all have your renewable energy. These are all aiming towards sustainable development. Okay. So SDG index has been released by Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog has released an index for sustainable development. Your CEO of Niti Aayog, very important, is Subramaniam. Okay, PVR Theatres is there, so is BVR Subramaniam. Okay, now you have Union Ministry has launched the e-Dakhil portal. Okay, that is your Ministry of Corporate Affairs has launched this portal. Consumer Affairs. So you can remember this, since it's behind the module MCQs, it becomes important. Then comes your World Green Economic Forum was launched in Dubai. And if you know Dubai, they have their 2050 plan, which they want to go full green. Okay, then you have the State Education Department has launched an e-government portal named Samarth in Odisha. Again, factual fact that the State Department of Odisha has issued the Samarth e-governance portal. With this, we've completed your lesson number 3. Thank you. Hi, so we'll be starting with the chapter called as Legal and Other Affairs. Now in this chapter, they are talking about the various courts and some important judgments. So first we'll see something which we already know, okay, that the most supreme court in India, okay, that is the Supreme Court. That is the apex court of India. No judgment okay, or we could say that a judgment given by the Supreme Court is binding on all the courts below it. I'll tell you one small little thing, that is the Supreme Court, now see the line that I've said, that Supreme Court judgment is binding on all the courts below it. It is not binding on itself. That means Supreme Court can always change its own decision by a higher bench. So if a single bench, if a single judge has given the judgment of Supreme Court, it can be changed by a dual bench of the Supreme Court. That dual bench decision of Supreme Court can be changed by a higher bench. Okay, so that is why they always, you have to be careful that the Supreme Court judgment is binding on all the lower courts. It is never binding on the Supreme Court itself. Clear till here? It came into existence on 26 January 1950. Then the highest court of the state is High Court. So that is why you have Bombay High Court, or you will have High Court of Tamil Nadu, so a High Court of Kerala, High Court of Jammu Kashmir. So each state will have its own High Court. Supreme Court is a top court of India. Now we see the NCLT, the main thing, NCLT and NCLAT. So these are all called as company courts. This is important actually. Section 408 and 410. So these have been past exam questions also. NCLT, because it's directly related to us. Company secretaries are permitted, allowed, authorized to appear and fight cases in NCLT and NCLAT. So after, if we are a company secretary of any company and any matter goes in court, we can defend in the court as well. So in section 408, NCLT was made. It is a company court. Many dispute related to companies will go here. If you are unhappy with the decision of NCLT, you will go in appeal to NCLAT. Clear? That is done. Even for IBC, it is the same courts that is there. For insolvency matters also, first it goes to NCLT and appeal goes to NCLAT, and from there it can go in appeal to Supreme Court. So basically this is the hierarchy: NCLT, then NCLAT, and then we have the Supreme Court. Okay, now they give you a few case laws. Now can they ask you a case law? Answer is just, we'll read it, it's given in your module, so it's important. So this case law, if we go to see, what are they saying? I have written in the crux. These notes you will get it in our WhatsApp group. So what are they saying? The crux, you read it, that sustainable development forms an integral part of Article 21, that is right of life. In this case law, they have said that right to life, that is Article 21, that we have a right to live, includes right to live in healthy environment. With this kind of pollution, AQI, it is affecting our fundamental right to live. So that is what the government has to work on. So the crux, I have given you the main thing, you don't need to read anything more. So Properties Owners Association versus State of Maharashtra, not all private property comes under the material resource of community under Article 39B. So this is the crux. If you want to know more, you can read the further case. I'll tell you what it is. Like normally, private property can be taken over by the government. Yes or no? Imagine if the government wants to build a road and your house is coming right in between. Yes. So definitely they can take your house. But all the properties come? Answer is no. Only those which affect the community, and that too at a material level. Means suddenly government will say, I want your house under Article 39B. Is that fair? No. It will only be allowed if it is a material, materially affecting the community. That listen, your house is right there, we will not be able to build the bridge. So all property does not come. Only those properties which is affecting public interest will come in this course. Clear? Then we look at the next case law, that is your Restaurants Association, where they said service charge can amount to unfair trade practice. Mandatory collection of service charge. So there is a Supreme Court guidelines with respect to this. I'm not talking about service tax, service charge. Restaurants you go, they charge you the GST. In addition to that, they're charging 10% service charge. So then consumer said that I don't want to pay this extra. It is a voluntary thing. You are telling, government has not told, I am paying the cost of the goods or whatever food. I am paying the taxes. How you are adding 10%? So it went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that listen, forcing the person to pay service charge is unfair. Second, government has set a guideline that they should clearly tell that service charge will be applicable. Then you are coming, it is a contract. If service charge is not clearly mentioned, then they cannot force you to pay the service charge, extra charge. It is amounting to unfair trade practice. Then we saw electoral bond. There was a huge UN cry with respect to the electoral bonds. What was the electoral bond? That government used to take the money and the donor's identity will be kept secret. So government is nicely getting the funds, parties are getting the funds, and the details of the donors are kept this. So they said that this is unconstitutional. It is a right of the citizens to know and keep this thing transparent. Okay, so therefore the electoral bond scheme was struck as unconstitutional under the Association of Democratic Reforms versus Union of India. Okay, which is important, I will tell you. Then again similar things in Ranjit Singh versus Union of India. The right to life includes healthy environment, climate change, everything affects our right to life. Very simple. Then another important judgment was there with respect to Article 370. So Supreme Court has upheld the validity of the Article 370 which was affected. So multiple petitions were challenged affecting the Jammu and Kashmir special status. Whether this kind of abrogation, that is this amendment, was valid, Supreme Court held that the amendment was constitutionally valid. Then came Vivek Narayan versus State of Union of India versus Union of India. Demonetization, someone said that it is against the law, it is everything wrong. They said, Supreme Court held that it was absolutely correct, it is not flawed, and it is under the powers of RBI to do demonetization. Then came Aruna versus Punnaswamy. A daughter can inherit self-acquired property of a Hindu male dying intestate. So earlier daughters could not inherit it. Now it is allowed even if she is married. Okay. Female can have inheritance rights. Then again I feel after these case laws, these are the important case laws that we need to know. Now coming about ICSI, very, very, very important, very clear to say what ICSI will also ask. First, ICSI, since we are registered with ICSI, we need to know a few facts about it. Every single person who is affiliated with ICSI or who is a member of ICSI, like including me, all of us have to follow the CS Act 1980. It gives you the professional code of conduct. Is given in your, so ICSI has made an act called as CS Act 1980, pursuant to which all the company secretaries, students, everyone are coming under. And the entire ICSI is also coming under MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Their job is to develop the CS profession. Okay. What is the job of ICSI? To increase the passing percentage from 50 to 55, then 60, then 65. No, what is the job? Is to develop the profession. Okay. Obviously, if you go to see that they are increasing the passing percentage, the criteria, you will be studying more hard. Unfair on you. Okay, but whatever, it's just a proposal that ICSI had recently told that they want to increase the passing percentage from 50 students. They almost die trying to get 50. So let's just increase the percentage to 55. So we'll see what happens to the students. So again, coming back, just feedback now. ICSI headquarters in New Delhi. Regional offices are there in Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata. Okay. They also have overseas branches in most functioning one is in UK and Dubai. Okay. And they have so much strength. Now the most important is who is the president and vice president of ICSI. So president as on 2025 is Dhananjay Shukla. Vice president is Pawan Chandak. Clear? These two again I feel is important question that they can ask you in your exams. Rest all is fine. Some awards here and there. Okay. Then again, Chandrayaan part is there. Basic. Yeah. So this all you can read. Not very. When we come to the MCQs or the multiple choice questions, this Chandrayaan aspect is there. It's important, I think. Yeah. Okay. Your Chandrayaan 3. This is important. It can come in your examination. So India made one of the biggest leaps in your space and this astrology. Okay. Here, when we go to see in 23rd August 2023, India successfully landed or did a soft landing on the moon. They landed the Vikram lander on the lunar surface. Okay, this was the first ever landing near the moon's south polar region. Okay, so till date, nobody has gone to the South Polar region. We went with the Vikram lander in 2023 and achieved the landing on the moon. This is very important to know. Then we see the same multiple choice questions. Kumbhkaran and beyond were selected under the Swadesh 2.3 scheme are located in which of the following states in Kerala? So, if they ask you this question directly, you can write it down, finish. Because these are such factual questions that you read it, just drop it. If any of this, at least I feel 1-2 MCQs can come from the MCQs given in the module. All this I have covered, okay. So, Polar Science and Research Scheme was implemented by which of the following union ministries? Ministry of Earth Science. Then in which of the following cities will the longest river cruise conclude? In Dibrugarh. Which is the state which became the first to launch the own climate change mission, that is Kerala. Almost everything is Kerala, literacy rate and all these things. Good. Climate change, okay, this we've seen held in the UN conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, was about climate change. With this, we've completed your lesson number 4. Thank you. Hi, so we'll be starting with your lesson 5, the business and economy. Now, the first thing is your topic starts with something called as free trade agreements, and what and why it is very important. Recently, you must have seen an entire global chaos between countries such as America. You have USA, Donald Trump. He was putting tariff on countries. In return, everybody was putting tariff. Then he said that, listen, let's do one thing. I'll put reciprocal basis. You don't put tariff on me, I don't put tariff on you. Because he wanted to encourage free trade. Free trade means why put tariff on each other? So free trade is basically an agreement between 2 or more countries to reduce or eliminate the non-tariff barriers, custom duties, etc. And it is about whether you are doing goods or services, tariff should be made free. Okay, free or less. Okay, why countries enter into this? So that it's easier to export into other countries. It it attracts foreign investments and encouragement. So if you go here, yeah. Now this I think is super important, super important. India also struck a deal with the European nations with respect to the free trade arrangement. Okay, so if you go to see, this was a event. Can you see this? So this I feel is important. This was the signing ceremony. It was on 10th March 2024. That India and European Free Trade Association was there. That they said free trade means zero, but actually here we said we'll reduce as much as possible. So we will not levy taxes on you, you will not levy taxes on me. But that was not what is decided. It was said I will levy less, you will levy less. So I'll show you what was the key roles. So this I feel they can ask you. TIPA is basically your India and EFTA. EFTA. Now what is EFTA? Mostly it is the European countries. Your Switzerland, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. Under the European Free Trade Association, they came back and they said that listen, they told that listen, you put less taxes on us, let us export into your country, and we promise to do good investment in your country. We will do FDI. So this is what they have promised: $100 billion investment in India over 15 years. 1 million direct jobs they want to create in India. First FTA will be there. Now the thing is, they are obviously going to do all this. In return, we will reduce the taxes. So tariffs will be 90% reduced. Okay. India tariff concessions are there. 82% tariff concession we will give. Gold imports will be excluded from duty reduction. Rest all the goods will be done. So some of the sensitive goods we will in order to protect our domestic territory, domestic suppliers, that we will not do. For other things we will give you less tariffs. Now just the International Solar Alliance was done to reduce the CO2 emissions. Now very important part again. Okay, this was I feel this is important. They can ask you in the examination, where India and Singapore have made a real-time cross-border payments of first country with B2P payment linkages. I'll tell you what it means. So real-time P2P payment gateway system was made between India and Singapore. That means if I'm making a payment in India, I can easily make the payment, right? There is no restriction. Now from India to Singapore and Singapore to India is also going to be easy, smooth, just like it is there without any border restrictions, etc. So this was the real-time payments that can be made. So I can go in Singapore and directly make the payment. Okay. So this is what the real-time cross-border payment can be done. So I can directly make a GPay out of India and USA also. Clear? Now, okay, this will benefit Indians people, migrants who have gone there, and even the vice versa. That was important. These are just headings that this is the first council, etc. Not that important. Read through. Okay, then there is one rifle for defense. It is a Indian Russian. So we buy Russian oil, we buying rifles. So wherever we are getting good discounts, we are definitely going to those countries. Now import-export scenarios, very important, called as the EXIM policies. What are EXIM policies? Import-export policies. Now for import-export policy, we have made something called as the FTP policy 2023-2028. Very important, FTP policy. It talks about all the import-export, what will be done, how it will be done, what are the benefits, etc. So obviously we don't care for imports that much, we really care for exports. So we will make export promotion councils, export promotion measures, various other benefits we will give to exporters to ensure that we are able to export in other countries. We'll ensure proper trade growth, resolve disputes between your exporters and the other country buyers. We will do that. Okay. Then we see here the recent appointments and chairmen of renowned companies. So all this is a factual aspect which you have to read. Basically, who is of Niti Aayog? The organization, full-time member. So at least the big company that you see, one read through you can do. Okay, they have given you the key post that is there. Then when you come to mergers and amalgamation, recent mergers that has happened is Air India and Vistara. With this, we had Air India become one bigger company, and now we have only Air India and Indigo as two major players. Rest it's a duopoly that has been created in the Indian market. Then PVR took over Inox, HDFC and HDFC Bank, they've been merged. Okay, Zomato and Blinkit, it was one of the most successful mergers and takeovers that is there. That Zomato was a loss-making company, though they had a lot of funds, they went out and bought Blinkit, and now Blinkit is really such a big success that it is helping Zomato to come into profitability again. Okay, Elon Musk bought, now these are global mergers. Elon Musk bought Twitter, etc. So when we look at the sample MCQs, recently which country emerged as India's third largest export destination? It was Netherlands. Which country's primary objective is Gyan mission? It is your conservation and documents of manuscripts. Then Netherlands, it is the third largest we have done. Then Sri Lanka. India has agreed to provide a grant to which country to implement the unitary digital identity framework. Now these are facts we'll have to learn. World Economic Forum released on gender gap index. India was ranking on 129th. Okay. With this, we have concluded our entire marathon for your CSEET Current Affairs 2026. Thank you so much guys for all your patience, and don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends, and let me know in the comment section also how we were able to help you. Thank you so much. Wish you all the very best. I will see you again in the upcoming lectures. Take care. Bye.